Marketing AI Radio, your shortcut to building smarter AI-driven marketing organizations.
All right, let's dive into this article that's been making the rounds. From Vision to Reality, Planning Your AI Journey in Marketing by Melissa Reeve.
Yeah, I've seen this one.
It seems like everyone's suddenly an AI expert, right? But what I appreciate about Reeve's piece is that she doesn't just hike it up. She actually gives you like a framework, a roadmap to actually use it.
It can be a bit overwhelming to cut through all the noise, that's for sure.
Right. It's like, we get it, AI is a big deal, but how do we actually make it work for us? Reeve uses this analogy of flat pack furniture.
Okay, I can see where this is going.
You've got all the pieces, you see the potential of what it could be, but without those instructions, good luck turning it into something amazing.
And that's exactly where a lot of businesses are stumbling, wouldn't you say? They get caught up in the hype without a clear plan for implementation.
Exactly. And that's what I think is so valuable about Reeve's phased approach. Instead of this like total AI takeover panic, it's broken down into manageable steps.
Makes it much less intimidating, for sure.
So much less intimidating. This first phase, experimentation and piloting, feels very approachable.
Definitely. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Can't expect to become an AI whiz overnight.
Exactly. It's like a chef tasting different ingredients before crafting the whole dish, right?
I like that analogy. You wouldn't just throw a bunch of ingredients together without understanding how they interact. This phase is all about exploring the flavors of AI, so to speak.
I like that. So finding those low-hanging fruit projects, stuff that can get you some quick wins without needing a complete system overhaul.
Exactly. Things that can have an impact without requiring a complete overhaul of your existing setup.
Like AI-powered email personalization, which Reeve mentions.
Right, that's a good one.
A lot of marketers are already at least familiar with that, even if they haven't fully embraced the whole AI thing yet.
Absolutely. It's a good entry point, something that people can wrap their heads around relatively easily.
Okay, so what about things like the AI content creation tools that are blowing up right now? How does that fit into this experimentation phase?
That's a perfect example, actually. They can be fantastic for generating copy quickly, but you need to find that sweet spot between automation and maintaining your unique brand voice.
So it's not just about churning out as much content as possible. It's about making sure it still sounds like you.
Exactly. And that's where data becomes absolutely crucial, wouldn't you say?
Okay, tell me more about that.
It's not enough to just try out every shiny new AI tool that comes along. It's about using data to understand what actually resonates with your audience.
So it's about being strategic, not just trendy.
Exactly. What works for one brand might not work for another. You have to find what works for you.
It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
Not at all. You've got to be smart about it. Strategic, like you said.
And that's what I like about Reeve's approach. It's not about blindly chasing the latest AI trends. It's about understanding your data, figuring out what resonates with your specific audience, and then figuring out how AI can help you achieve your goals. Which brings us to this next step, scaling up.
Which, let's be honest, can seem a little daunting.
Oh, absolutely daunting. But Reeve lays out exactly how to take those successful pilot projects to that next level.
It's all about building on those early wins.
Yeah. And that's where her emphasis on team acceleration and workflow optimization is so interesting.
Right, because this is about more than just the technology itself.
Okay, so how does that connect to this bigger picture of AI integration?
It's about empowering your team to use it effectively.
I was so struck by her point about training and resources, because even with the most amazing AI tools at your disposal, if your team doesn't know how to use them or how to interpret the data, it's basically useless.
It's like having a state-of-the-art kitchen, but no one who knows how to use the equipment. What's the point?
Right. It's not going to magically elevate your cooking just because it's there.
Exactly. Investing in your team's skills and knowledge is just as important as investing in the AI tools themselves. You need both to be successful.
So you've got the team, they're comfortable with the tools. That's when things get really interesting.
That's when the real magic happens, right?
Reeve's third phase, business acceleration and transformation, is where we go from small improvements to like, whoa, game-changing stuff.
What's powerful here is that we're moving beyond those isolated projects. Now we're talking about AI integrated across your whole business.
It's not just the marketing team playing with AI anymore. It's about finding every opportunity where AI can completely change how you do things.
It's about thinking bigger, wouldn't you say?
Definitely bigger. Reeve gave those examples, like using chatbots to handle those basic legal questions.
Right, and using predictive analytics so sales teams can forecast more accurately.
It just makes you realize all the potential. Imagine if your marketing campaigns didn't just get personalized, but they could actually predict what a customer wants before they even know it.
It's like they're reading their minds. Okay, maybe not quite, but it is powerful stuff.
Okay, that does sound a bit like science fiction, but incredibly cool. But realistically, resources are going to be a factor.
Of course, you can't do everything at once.
You can't just implement every AI-powered idea you have. Reeve calls this prioritizing like a pro, which honestly, prioritizing is hard.
It's one of the most challenging things, but also the most important.
How do you decide where to focus?
It comes back to those specific goals and those constraints. Reeve's framework, faster, better, cheaper, pick two, is so useful for making these tough decisions.
Okay, I like that, because you're right, you can't have it all.
Exactly. It forces you to think about those trade-offs. Do you want it done fast and cheap? It might not be perfect. Do you want it high quality and fast? It's probably going to cost you.
It's that classic triangle. You can only pick two sides. It makes it seem less overwhelming when you have a tool like that. It's like this constant tension between what's possible with AI and what you can actually do right now with your resources.
Which is why Reeve talks about organizational readiness, which is an important concept.
It almost sounds a little intimidating when you put it like that. Like, do I need to go back to school for this? Do I need to be a data scientist to understand this?
Not at all. It's much simpler than it sounds.
Okay, controlled chaos.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. It's not just about adding some new tech tools to your toolkit. You're changing how you do things from the ground up.
It's a whole different way of thinking. And a big part of that is understanding that AI isn't something you just install and boom, instant amazing results.
Right, it's not magic.
You need to be ready for a learning curve for your team and even for the tech itself. Reeve talks about those feedback loops. You've got to constantly refine and be willing to evolve your approach based on what you're learning.
That makes me think about what you said earlier. AI is only as good as the people using it.
Exactly.
So how do leaders get their teams ready for this AI-driven world?
Well, Reeve talks about this idea of evaluating your existing capabilities.
Okay, so like taking inventory of what you've got.
Right. Do you have people on your team who are already pretty good with data? Are they excited about AI, even if they're not experts yet?
So it sounds like it's just as much about curiosity and a willingness to learn as it is about having like specific technical skills at the start.
I'd say those things are essential because the reality is there will be challenges. There will be some stumbles along the way.
We've got to break a few eggs to make an omelet.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the people who are really going to thrive in this new world are the ones who are open to learning from mistakes, to experimenting, to just embracing the unknown.
It's like that whole growth mindset thing, but applied to AI.
Exactly.
You know, it's funny. At the beginning of this deep dive, I was honestly a bit intimidated by this whole AI revolution everyone keeps talking about.
Yeah, I can feel like it's moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
But what I'm taking away from Reeve's article and from this conversation is that it's not some crazy race. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
I like that.
You take it one strategic step at a time, and you slowly build towards that future where AI is just part of everything you do.
It's not about trying to do everything at once. It's about finding those areas where AI can make a real difference in your business, even if it's just starting with a small experiment.
Small steps. I like it. So as you go back to your work today, think about this. What's your first step going to be? What experiment are you going to run? This is your AI journey.
Make it your own.
Thanks for listening to the show today. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Visit us at marketingfrontier.ai for more resources, tools, and expert advice. And until next time, keep pushing the boundaries of what AI can do for you.